Welcome back to NFT Talks podcast. And today I have an amazing guest, a guy that I've been speaking to for a good while, especially through LinkedIn. We're connected and had some great conversations. His name is Sol. He's a co-founder of the NFT Yearbook, which is basically documenting history on chain, which is amazing, guys. Like, there's so much amazing things that has happened since this boom, and it's all going to be documenting having the greatest content creators, contributors to the space, come together and create some form of collectible. So how you doing? So how you been?
I'm really good. Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. We have been talking for quite some time, my friend. I mean, it's been what, 2 or 3 months since the last time we spoke.
Yeah, I know, but this happens. We talk, we go from work, we come back and update each other and stuff, come back over. So you've been building, so that's the most important thing. You've been building.
I mean, this market definitely has some people, really scared, and for us, we see it as a time to build.
Yeah.
We see it as a time to really, make sure that we have this infrastructure down. And it's amazing because, the community has been so positive about this project specifically, that we're just humbled by the people that are willing to join this project. And I'll get into that a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. So how's things been in regards to within the space, and a lot of things have been happening, obviously, with the bear market, the merge. There's so much things. So how's it been treating you?
Did you merge, bro? Yeah, no, we the market. I've been buying art. I've got skin in the game for years and years and years in this space. I love the space. I will never stop buying art, digital art. And I'm not saying NFTs on purpose. I'm saying digital art. I will never stop. I bought some of the most amazing collections from the most amazing artists, including a collab piece with Grat Young the other day. So, people that are in this space for a cash grab,
yeah,
go ahead. We need you too. But people that are here because they love the culture, they love the friends, they love the people, they love everything. I left my cushy job. I was working for one of the biggest banks in the world before Corona, Bank of Montreal, as the head of innovation. And, I left that as Corona hit, and I said, that's it, DGen. Let's take the blood oath and let's start buying NFTs, And one thing led to another, and it's just been, 7 projects now that we've been a part of. Some more successful than others. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. But we decided to, really go all in on this NFT Yearbook project. And, I think that this is the one really that has resonated the most with the Twitter community, the Discord heads, the LinkedIn fam. So it really resonates with everyone because it's something that's easily digestible. It's something common, and we're making it very cool. So.
Yeah, I love it. The whole concept. It sounds pretty simple in regards to NFT Yearbook, but the concept in regards to nostalgia, in regards to how things are changing so quick. How things were 5 months ago is completely different to how things are now. So if you've been in the community for a while, you're like, oh, I remember this was happening. And then also accreditation to contribution. Like, this is what Web3 is about, being rewarded for your contributions.
Yeah.
Look, acknowledge this, what this guy done. Well done. Hats off to you. Kudos.
Yeah. Thank you. We're just sorry. We're just sorry we didn't think about it in 2017. It was our mistake, our bad. Yeah. So, the first volume is basically a culmination of everything that's happened since, early beginning until now. And that's going to be the first volume. After that, it's going to be an annual thing. So we'll be able to have a better snapshot of the year. But because this is the first volume, we basically made it a huge book. So the NFT Yearbook is, can I jump into it now?
Yeah, go on, man. Let's go straight into it, man.
Sure. So the NFT Yearbook is a collection of 9669 NFTs. They're 3D readables. So we have our founder in Vancouver, Canada, Callie. What's up? Callie's been a publisher for 35 years with Global Village Publishing. They've done crazy books. So the whole Innovate series, New Blockchain, Women of the Future, which is a big book right now. These are all books that Global Village Publishing is in charge of and have done and published and printed. But yeah, Callie created, the tech for a 3D readable, and it's VR, AR, metaverse ready 3D readable. So you can actually flip through them right now on OpenSea. We've got the NFT proposal for the yearbook in our wallets on OpenSea, and you can actually flip through them. It's quite neat.
Okay.
But the coolest part for me is that every single one of the 9669 NFTs is actually tied to a physical book. And it's not just a physical book.
Okay.
It's a very beautiful, beautiful physical book. So this is just an example of the yearbook. And you can see it's, very, very high quality. This is what Cali does for, 30 odd years. They're beautiful. Mm-hmm. This one is 385 pages. Ours is 420, also to be on brand, but also because we got a lot of pages and a lot of people to cover. So this will get sent to every single NFT holder's front door or address they provide in the first month of 2023, along with their 3D readable.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about. Okay. So we know what people are getting. I understand what is in the book. Like what other people are in the book. What is? I know we talk about NFT Yearbook. Like, give me the categories.
Of course. So we've been humbled by the community. When we set out to populate the book with content, we really thought, how are we going to involve the community, make the community drive this project? So it is a community-led project. And we came up with the following. So 2/3 of the book are going to be, interviews with artists, thought leaders, collectors, collections, creators. So all of that, people get a different position. So it could be a half page or a full page. In some cases, a double spread. But that populates 2/3 of the book. Mm-hmm. Okay? So it's going to be artists, art from artists that you haven't seen. A lot of artists are making one-of-one art for this project. Again, artists in the Web3 creating one-of-one NFT art for this project. The thought leaders are dropping alpha about upcoming projects that people are going to want to know about.
Okay.
And just, collectors that are, for example, Deadfellaz and Betty. What's up, Betty? Yeah, we know that they have amazing collectors in their mix. So we've got a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful way for them to collect something in addition to, directly from Deadfellaz fans. So we're doing something, I think, that memorializes the entire space. It really puts everyone in the community on a pedestal. But the cooler thing is the last third of the book. So the last third of the book are all made up of these blank positions. So let me just show you what I mean. So if I open the book and I see here like a paragraph, so think of that as a yearbook quote. So somebody that mints the NFT, they could win a blank space that big. They could win a blank quarter page. They could win a blank half page, a full page, a double page. I think we have 2 double page spreads as rarities. There's over 2,500 of these blank positions in the book. So when people buy their NFT, they'll get a rarity, and 6 months after mint, until we update metadata, people are going to be able to trade, buy, sell their empty position. So there might be a collection that wants to be next to Bored Apes, for example, where we have a blank space. So they'll buy that blank position. Artist that wants to be next to, I'm throwing names out there, people in the book, but Grant Yun or Fuck Render, for example, they might find it strategic to have the page next to them. So these are all the things that are going to happen for the 6 weeks. People are going to send in their content, no hate speech, no copyright infringement, yes, shit posting, yes, culture, yes, everything else. But, so we'll be able to, make sure that's NFT content. And we just want the community to be involved, just like on Twitter. Just like on LinkedIn, you post something, you get all the comments. So and that's what we want in the yearbook too.
Just to clarify, so this is at random. So when these NFTs that your users can get, holders can get access to, you can't decide whether you're getting a half page or a quote or a full page spread. You can't decide that.
You cannot. No, okay. It's all randomized, and that's one way that the yearbook is going to drive, secondary market as well, and maybe something interesting. We've kind of gamified the process.
Yeah.
Because when you see these books on OpenSea and you realize, oh, wait a second, this person's got page 51, and that's right next to people. You know what I mean? So for an artist, it might be a strategic play to do something like that. But again, this is just a way that we've gamified the minting process and the reveal process, and just to get the community involved more and more. At the end of the day, that's what we're going for.
And how have you gone about building your community? Because what kind of people have you got in your community? Are they brands that are in? Because this would make a big incentive for a brand to get involved, to say, okay, then they can pump all the money into all the NFTs to get next to Bored Apes. Or is it a case of you really selected? Is it select community? Like, I want to know that they're creatives or the people have been in the space for a long time. Because if it is, that's great. If it isn't, then it becomes a bit of an advertising war.
Yeah. We have no sponsors, not one. We do not want this book tainted in any way. If we did take a sponsorship down the road, it would be definitely after a lot of due diligence was made and a lot of agreements were made where the book content would not be swayed in anyone's, for any dollar. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So there's good companies out there, for example, Ledger, which is incredibly dedicated to their community. So a Ledger spot would be amazing. But again, we do not have any sponsorships. This has all been doing, grassroots, bootstrap. So it's myself, Dashi, Crypto Dashi, shout out Dan, and Callie in Vancouver. And basically, that's it. So nobody is on secondary market. I can't stop Nike from coming in and buying every blank space. I can't do that. That's just the way decentralization and the way this drop works, right? Mm-hmm. So what we do guarantee is that the people that have been picked for this book have been in this space since day one, and many of them before day one. Okay. So, for example, just to throw some names out there, people, and by the way, on our Twitter, NFT Yearbook, you can see a list with all of the members in the book that has Twitter profiles. There's some people that don't have Twitter profiles, odd. But, for example, DZFi, Mike Dudas, Betty, Zeneca, I'm going to go on and on right now. So we've got Josh Ung, we've got, just Mech. God, I wish I had the list right in front of me here. I'll bring it up. So I'm not just throwing names out there without anything. 1 second. We've got artists like Grant Young. We've got We've got Fluff Render. We've got Faux. Solo. Jake Freed. Oh my goodness, Jake Freed. Jake Freed joined us yesterday. He's from the Boston area. You know Jake Freed, the artist?
Yeah, I've come across him.
So Jake Freed's last 4 sales have been around the average of $130,000. And there's one element to the book that I haven't talked about yet that I'd like to talk about now.
All right, let's get it.
So for the collectors out there of fine arts, so for example, Jake Freed. Jake has offered to do a one-of-one cover for one book. Okay. Right. These rare covers, we now have 17 of them and counting from one-of-one artists around the world. And I can't mention some of the names, but you're going to understand that some of these things could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars just based on the artist that has created them. So these covers are not part of that 9669 collection. These are going to be auctioned off. And we really wanted to give artists a chance to profit from this project in some way. So all of the proceeds from the auctioned cover and book sales go back to the artist and a charity of their choice. Not only can they decide how much the charity gets, 100% of the artist, 0, 50-50, 70-30, whatever you want, it's all in the artist's hands. And that's the way that we're giving back to the people that have helped us populate this book.
Okay, so so clarification, this is separate from purchasing the NFT to be in the book and own it, because you'll get that sent out when you have an NFT, but this is an auction that one-of-one design pieces from the top artists or influential artists within the space, which could be worth a lot. It's like having a piece of art in a book, isn't it?
It is absolutely having a one-of-one piece of art from the biggest and up-and-coming artists. I'm not going to take anything away from the up-and-coming artists that are also doing covers. They're absolutely amazing. I mean, the rabbit holes, Sean, that I've been going down over these last 3 months, my man, has just been, I mean, I feel like I took the big mushroom and went down the little hole and took the little mushroom, went up the big hole. Every time I fall in a new super rare artist, I end up buying art. Yeah. And I end up adding, to the book. But I don't want to pretend and say that we're the only people choosing people to be in this book, because it's no way, shape, or form. We knew who the big players were. Yeah. So we knew, obviously, we're all in agreement that DZ is one of the biggest people in the space. Mm-hmm. We all know that Zen is one of the big people in the space. You know what I mean? So there's some people that we just brought them on, and they've actually become NFT Yearbook Council members, or committee members, rather. So they've been a friend bring a friend. So, for example, when DZ came on, he brought over Andy from Tessera. Fractional used to be, now it's Tessera. So all of the people, the artists, have been amazing. They've been bringing their friends. I mean, when I talked to Vinny Hager and we interviewed Vinny the other day, Toby Lasso from the UK, I'm assuming, yeah?
Toby Lasso, no,
Toby Lasso is Vinny Hager's manager. Okay. He's one of the big names in the Twitterverse for sure. Okay. So Toby, brought us Vinny and brought us Clone from Cool Cats. Okay. And Mick Best brought us Tony Babel. And, this artist brought us that. So it's just been this, a friend bring a friend thing, which has really made it wonderfully, wonderful to see a name and then you click on it and you all of a sudden see, oh my God, I had no idea that this is the art that was out there today. The stupid Twitter algorithm hasn't been showing me this art, And it's just incredible to see. There's so much positivity and so much helping community in this space. I never had an idea 5 months ago when we started this whole project, the planning and everything, that the community would be exactly how people make it sound, where it's a lot of people helping people. I did think there was going to be a bunch of asses around. There hasn't been anyone.
There's a good sign.
Literally three people since day one. 3 people have said no to being in the yearbook. Two of them I won't mention from LinkedIn. You know who you are, and one from Twitter. But I do think that we'll get that person from Twitter. But that's it. Everyone else has said yes. Everyone else has done an interview. Everyone else is so pumped up for this.
Yeah, and that's a good sign that it's confirmed that the idea, people within the community love the idea, and it validates the concept, doesn't it? I mean, you mentioned the one of one piece of art. I've seen that happen with the Times pieces. So that almost like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we actually, Mika Johnson from Akatars, who was on the Time cover just recently, and then the Timepieces collection also featured Vinny Hagar, for example. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, they had the covers done, but this is a 3D readable tied to a physical copy, so it's a bit different. I mean, look we love Time. We think Time is amazing, and we'd love to feature Timepieces in the book as well. I mean, we talked to them for a while, and we'll see what comes from that. Mm-hmm. We've really reached out to everyone. It's been amazing. I mean, from some of the biggest artists in Asia, to the biggest collections in Asia, to the ones in Europe, to the ones in the UK, to the ones everywhere. We've really been lucky to have right now at this point, after 3 months of really starting to market, we've got 260 people already interviewed, already in the book.
Wow. Yeah. You've been working, like you said, so a lot of work has been done. It's obviously still coming. You're coming to drop the book towards the end of the year, right?
So the book will drop, and the NFT drop will happen in stages. Okay, why we're doing that, and I'll explain that briefly. So because we're doing a physical product, a book, and we have to pay for printing, for publishing, for writing, for graphic design, for shipping, which is quite a challenge, finding all the shipping centers around the world and finding the right printer to use in the right region. So it's a lot of headache. But because it's a physical book, what we're actually doing is we're allowing the stage sale to happen. So mint passes, which will have a great discount for people in the book, friends and family, dedicated community members. So that'll be staged at a very, very extreme discounted rate. Okay, and then we're doing that because we understand the NFT game. People buy things and then they list under floor price, and then blah blah blah. So we have to maintain that type of momentum where we know that the first people are going to be wanting to see this book on their coffee table. They're going to want to be a part of this book, and then after that go into a pre-sale, and that's also using a mint pass per se, and then a public sale to end it off in Q4. So that's basically the way that we're doing it, and books will be shipped out and received in January 2023. So as the year ends, the new year comes in, so does your book.
Okay, so I want to touch on the books. Obviously, the example of the book looks amazing, so I can imagine that being on your coffee table. Is it going to be technology integrated into the book? So we're looking at AR, potentially things coming to life on your phone, from the pictures, or even like proof of ownership? Is it going to be linked to their digital counterpart? So do we have an NFC reader that you can scan and links back to the actual NFT to show that I actually own a book, I didn't steal this book?
This is yes to all your questions. Yes, of course. Yeah. So AR elements, for example, Amarita Sethi, wonderful artist from Dubai. Love you, Amarita. So Amarita has an AR element to her art in the book. And yes, you will be able to take your phone and you'll be able to, implement AR technology and be able to see things pop out of the page. Yeah, that's only for the artists that have chosen to do AR. So that's yes on that. The second question you were talking about,
proof of ownership.
Yeah, proof of ownership. So proof of ownership, definitely. There's a code on every NFT that is tied to the same barcode on every single book. So your NFT will be to your book. That way you'll be able to see if someone has already claimed their physical copy, first of all, right? So for example, if somebody wants to sell their digital copy and you have someone who wants to buy their digital copy, so you'll be able to see, for sure if that physical copy has been claimed or not, because some people may not want to claim. They may be in this to flip, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that everybody has the information. So you'll be able to see if the books have been claimed or not first.
Okay, cool. And in regards to this is going back, I know flipping from one thing to another, but I'm just thinking of
That's
things
all right.
going on. So
I'm loving it.
In regards to the book, in regards to purchasing the NFTs, if one project, let's say we talked about Betty, shouts to Betty, she decided, 500 of her followers, we want to really get Deadfellaz in this all over this book. Could they? Is there a limitation on the first purchase in regards
on the mint pass?
On the mint pass, and
so yeah, mint
passes
are very much limited.
And what content is put out there? Because let's say that there was kind of a kind of viral thing they were trying to do, and Deadfellaz or Deadfellaz followers decided to do that and wanted to use their Deadfella as the image, and then they'll have like 5, 6, 7 pages of just all Deadfellaz.
Well, again, like after the mint,
yeah.
If 500 Deadfellaz decide, and please, we'd love to have 500 Deadfellaz. We love the Deadfellaz fam. Shout out to everybody, Kiara, Freddie, everybody from the Deadfellaz team, and of course Betty. So we definitely love Deadfellaz, but again, I mean, the mint passes are limited to the team, people that are in the book, to the core team. So say with Deadfellaz, I know there's around 20, 30-ish. So if that would be 20, 30-ish to get the mint passes, that's okay with us. And then it's going to be the dedicated collectors. So say 5, 10, people from each collection in that regard. So it won't be flooded with before the mint, it won't be flooded with people that are able to submit content. Because again, out of the 9669 NFTs, there's about 25 to 3,000 blank positions. So not everyone that mints is going to get a blank position, right? It's randomized. So that's the one thing. Secondary sales come around. If, Deadfellaz, if the Weirdos Ghost Gang, if Bored Apes, if somebody apes in and picks up all those blank spots, well, shit. That's just the way it goes with decentralization. You know what I mean? I mean, there's nothing we can do to stop that. That, I mean, isn't at all a bad thing. I do feel like you see on Twitter that the best shit posters come from similar collections. So I would love to see what people write, I would love to see, as many shit posts as we can about Deadfellaz across the book, or about the apes, or about, that's just the way the culture is.
Yeah. No, I hear that.
That's what we are. I mean, how many Discords have we been in where it says Twitter raid? Twitter raid right now. Let's go. That's just what happens. And that's part of it. And we're totally accepting of that. And, next year, the other collection will have the chance.
Yeah, that's it. I think it'll be a big battle. If that ever happens, I think there'll be a big war. Every year, they'll be like trying to get their projects all over the book.
Yeah,
crazy. What would you consider the book? Would you consider it a collectible or an educational piece? Because I feel it's a bit of both.
It's definitely first a collectible. First and foremost, a digital collectible and a physical collectible. So those are the two things that we want to make sure that people understand. Is this is a snapshot of history. It's remembering friends. So going back to educational content, yes. So our good friend Delphin and Sean, I think you as well, you'll be adding a bit of educational content. Yep. So Delphin from France, from Super Folks, and Sean Sinclair, they'll be, adding some educational stuff just because we wanted people that really understand what they're talking about to add educational content to the book. So there's 2 chapters on education, just so everybody has the brief interaction. We do know that as a collectible, it'll be more seasoned veterans, so they might be not relevant to all that educational content, but we want to have it there, right?
Right.
Next, there's other sections for digital artists from the 50s and 60s that have passed away this year. So George Back, thank you very much, George, from Switzerland, Crypto Valley, George, one of the biggest curators of fine art in the history of the world. So George recommended and actually put us on to a bunch of artists that unfortunately passed away this last year and the year before. And they have been creating digital art since 1950s and 1960s. I had no idea. So these artists will also be in a chapter in memoriam. So people that have passed on, just to kind of give kudos to people that were pioneers of this web3 and digital art space, without knowing it. Then we move on to interviews with thought leaders, interviews with artists, rare art, one-of-one art, and so on. And then just the community aspect. And that's the book, it's just really a celebration of the things that are real in this industry. And it's chain agnostic. So it'll be Ethereum projects, Solana projects, Cardano projects, Tezos, of course, with all the amazing artists on Tezos. So it'll be chain agnostic completely. The book is fully readable. Again, VR, AR, you can flip through it on OpenSea and you'll get a physical book.
Okay. So moving forward, I'm not sure you guys have probably thought of this. Is okay. You guys have picked who's going to be in the book, which is fine because not everyone's going to know who's who and
We've
whatnot.
selected a few of the people in the book. Yeah,
selected a few people in the book. But in the future, is there any way that people are going to be able to vote on who goes in the book based on just whether it's you create a DAO for that of creators and people can select that? Is that
we've got the yearbook committee? We've got the yearbook committee. Yeah, exactly.
Tell me about that.
So the yearbook committee, basically, we've taken a 50-50 split men-women to make sure it's as inclusive and diverse as we can, and people from all over the world, from all backgrounds as well. So that's been something we've been doing intentionally because there's not enough intentional actions in this space, and that's something we're doing to make sure that we're doing it right. Now, in terms of the yearbook committee, so for this first book, again, we selected the first few people, the first few dozen people that we understood were the leaders of Web3. Everybody knows who they are. If that's, Farouk and Patrick from Rug Radio to, Ashira Lazar, to, all of these amazing people that have come together in the space. So they'll form the yearbook committee. Now they'll be able to nominate in the future, right? Yeah. Nominate people they think should be in the book or that maybe we haven't included in the book. It just happens that way. So they'll be able to nominate. And that's for the second book. The second book comes out. The community that purchased the first book will all have a vote on people that should be in the book or not in the book or so on and so forth, right? Okay. All right. So that turns it into a DAO structure without having a wallet that people are managing, but it does give them voting rights to be able to vote on different things for the future of Metaverse Publishers, which is our parent company that we're co-founders of for the NFT Yearbook. So all projects for Metaverse Publishers and the future yearbooks. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense. So more questions about the book then, since we're going on to the contributing to next year. Are you looking to add like dynamic NFTs? So NFTs, once you have an NFT and you put your content in there, it can change over time. Or be added into the next book. Is it going to be people that are going to stay throughout the years? Like
we really hope so. We really hope so. The same way that Michael Jordan had a ring here. So that's what we're hoping that people will be featured in the yearbook year after year after year after year. I mean, one of the things that's most interesting to me is interviewing these 21-year-old, 16-year-old artists that are incredible. I mean, shout out to Alevi, 16, 17 years old now, I think. He's just making incredible art. So I really want to look back in 10 years, 20 years and be like, yeah, this was your interview back then, dummy. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing that I love the most about this is to see the craziest shit that went down in 2017 to 2022 later in life. But so, I mean, that's basically what I hope is that people will be in the space or be in the space that long. I mean, there's a lot of FUD out there. There's a lot of, people leaving the space, unfortunately, some of the biggest names in the world. But yeah, honestly, I think that people should be in the book year after year. If you're contributing to the community, if you're contributing to the culture, you should be memorialized in the culture. And that's something we want to definitely do year after year.
And partnerships, is there talks around continuous maybe airdrops in the future from whoever's involved? So if you've got the book, you get a special airdrop from a specific artist maybe or from a PFP project? Just because
we're in talks with a lot of different projects actually for just those things. We want to make sure that the people that are early onto this book and form that core community of 9669 or however many it is. You're not only able to buy one book, you'll be able to buy a few of them. I'm not going to tell you how many yet, but you'll be able to buy a few of them. So that community needs to be rewarded. We know that. I mean, this is what the NFT and Web3 space is all about. But we want to reward people with things that are cool. We don't just want to be giving, now you have the ability to buy another NFT. Okay, now buy another NFT. Buy another NFT.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not climbing that pyramid. we really want to give things of value to people. So we're going to have extra utilities on, certain aspects of the mint pass that we're actually minting out, which is also a 3D readable cover. That's actually how it looks, is a 3D readable. But there'll be extra utility baked into that mint pass. I don't think that's ever been done before by a collection where the mint pass is actually something that will be
Eclectic.
Utility driven. I'm not
Yeah.
going to say more. And then we also have, different one-of-one art coming from artist collabs in the future that people in the book will be able to get their hands on. And again, I mean, the network that we're building here, getting all the people in the same room together, the collabs and the creations that have already started. We did a Spaces 3 weeks ago with Die with the Most Likes. What's up, homie? Die with the Most Likes, Reese from South Africa, and Kibo. And those guys hadn't met each other. And Zeneca, it was on Twitter.
Yeah.
Those guys hadn't met each other before. And it turned out at the end that Die with the Most Likes and Reese, obviously following each other, obviously, but there's collab opportunities at the end of this. And that would never have happened without this yearbook project. So that's really an important thing to look at. And I know right now that the artists that have been giving us one-of-one art, not only for the covers for the rare books, but also, and I'm going to tell you this, our mint passes are also being created by one-of-one artists. So the mint pass itself is a piece of art.
Wow.
One-of-one piece of art. And I have 6 artists from around the world right now that have created mint passes for us.
Wow.
So yeah.
Cool.
The network, the things to come in the future, other projects of metaverse publishing, the people that are in early on the yearbook, you're going to, benefit from all of those things. You'll be the first ones to know about everything. We're dedicated to our community, to our fam. This is the most fun I've had in my life. I'm 41. This is the most fun I've had in my life. Love you, my kid. This is a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? Like this is pretty much like being a father to a new babe, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of fun.
So what's the entry point then? Like, I guess everyone wants to know like what's the cost of actually getting and how can they get the NFT?
Yeah, sure. So of course, ETH is really pooping the bed right now, but we will say that on an average ETH day of the last few months, say at around $1,400, we're going to mint the mint pass for 0.12. So you'll be able to get the physical, digital, and the mint pass, which I won't reveal what that does. So those are for the first people that are in the book, for friends and family, and for dedicated collectors of collections. 0.12. The price then goes up after that for the pre-sale to around 0.16, and then to end it off, it'll be 0.19 at public sale, and that could change. We might drop, or it will not be over 0.2. That is what I can tell you about the sales. There's nothing over 0.2.
Okay, so it's not too crazy with the amount. It's affordable, and obviously with the other things you talked about, there's going to be continuous value in regards to getting these as getting a one-of-one piece of art potentially, or
exactly
collectible. So that's amazing. So
well, everyone in the book, everyone that buys an NFT yearbook, I have to make this clear.
Yeah.
Everyone that buys the yearbook will be getting one-of-one art, but there'll be 9,669 copies of it, right?
Yeah.
So it will be like a limited series in a way. But every single artist that's in the book, their art is one-of-one art. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you won't only have one piece; you'll have 300 pieces.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, so that's cool. So I want to talk about obviously the metaverse. You mentioned the books, obviously a metaverse ready. Have you guys thought about potentially creating like I got this idea from like Spotify did the Spotify Island, the whole experience. So like NFT, we're looking forward to getting an NFT Yearbook Island with these things. You go there, it's an experience where there's a piece of art, people that have been in the book, maybe avatars actually of the people that have created the information in the book, give me that information in like an experience there.
So how about learning about Web3 on a Web3 platform? How about getting a university education in a metaverse? How about reading one of the public domain books that are free online in a metaverse library and archives? Maybe metaverse publishers should invent the metaverse libraries and archives. So yeah, that's on our roadmap. These are things that we're doing right now, and I can explain those. So I can't tell you the exact use case that we're working with artists about it, just because it's too cool. But artists have something that we are able to mint as a 3D readable that is very valuable to them. So artists and authors that are unrepresented. So if an author doesn't have a publisher or marketing team, and they want to publish their book, they want to be able for people to read their book. So we're able to drag and drop their stories and their art and anything, and create 3D readables. So basically anything that can be a book can be a 3D readable book, of course, right? But then you've got the idea of free public domain books on the internet. So when we have, you know, crazy books like Alice in Wonderland and all of these free books that are online, those can all be minted as 3D readables, and we've already done them. So we've got a stock of books that are 3D readables now that just need to be, you know, taken into a metaverse library or archived in Decentraland, Voxels, you know, other side. Sandbox still in beta, but we'll wait on that. But yeah, all of these things are our plans. We plan to create the metaverse library and archives where people will be able to learn about Web3 resources on a Web3 platform. I mean, we learn about shit today. Sorry for swearing, but we learn about stuff today on, you know, LinkedIn, on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube. Okay, but we're learning about a culture here that's called Web3, and this culture needs to be learned about on a Web3 platform. I can't even tell you that probably 90% of the wallets in the world have never ever entered Decentraland.
Yeah,
you know, even more than that. I'd say 95% have never been to Spatial. You know, have never been to any of these platforms. I don't think that people really know how to walk around a metaverse. They don't know the language of the metaverse, you know, unless they're a gamer or someone that's been around Twitch for a while.
Yep.
So I recommend to everyone, honestly, get out there and get into a metaverse. They don't cost money. You know, connect your wallet, pick your avatar, you know, Ready Player One or Ready Player One. Ready Player Me. Thank you for correcting me. The movie was great. So, I mean, they even take your face and turn it into your own avatar. So I think that's very cool. Shout out Multi NFT, who's got one of the best clubs in all of the metaverse in Decentraland. I mean, the Rage Club. They're doing things there every week that I think no other company's been doing since 2018. I mean, there's OGs of the space that have been doing this since day one, and most of the people that are chattering on, you know, on LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever it is have never even stepped foot.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's a fact.
So get into the culture. That's what I'm trying to say. Get into it. Really immerse yourself in it. You know, don't just talk about it. Do it. You know, do it.
The fact, what I'm going to ask you is, which is probably a bit of a pushback that people may ask, is why would I want to read my book in the metaverse rather than reading? I could read it on a Kindle. You know what I mean? Like, it's still digital. I don't have to have the physical item there. So, yeah, why?
So I'll tell you exactly why. Obviously, the migration to Web3 platforms is not just an if; it's an inevitable. So I can guarantee you, I mean, that all students in the world someday will have a mixed educational experience. So half of it'll be IRL, half of it'll be virtual in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. We saw what Corona did to us. We saw what the Rona took us out of our traditional school systems, and the Rona took us into this remote learning where we counted on Teams, we counted on Zoom, which we're on right now, which is fine. But it's not good enough. This is not something that you can teach children with, especially when you've got a class. I got 3 kids. Not one day that there was a remote learning session did my child learn anything at school. Not one day. It was impossible for the teachers, especially in Israel. I mean, shout out to crazy people. There's a lot of us here. So, I mean, it was very, very difficult to even gauge how much your child was learning because the teacher couldn't control the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, you had no way to do it. So what I'm trying to say is, I mean, Oculus sales have gone up tenfold over the last few years. There's more and more VR headsets out there. There's more and more cool technologies coming. I mean, Meta, Ray-Ban, who knows how many years we've got our cool Ray-Bans that are built up to, you know, a metaverse platform, AR, VR. So yeah, when I think about, you know, reading on a Kindle, people would have said that about a book. Why don't you just read on a book? So I'm glad you gave that example of a Kindle. So that's that technological progression. And the next progression is going to be, you know, these 3D readables. And there's going to be something after that too. Yeah. And we're hoping to be that company, Metaverse Publishers, that company that is at the forefront of 3D readables. We are the #1 publisher of Metaverse everything in terms of 3D readables. And, you know, we're doing and building this network now so that I know that if I need, you know, a cover from, you know, one of these amazing artists, or I want to do you know, a historical look at NFTs, or I want to do, you know, women of NFTs, or we want to do something. We have that network to drive these projects at a later stage. And that's what Metaverse Publishers are all about, to give a voice to people that don't have one, and to give a voice to people that want to collab. And, you know, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Okay. You touched on a few things. Like you mentioned, obviously, you mentioned your child in school. My daughter's got recently got given an iPad,
How old's your daughter?
They're doing. She's 11, so they get all the homework on the iPad now. In school, they take out the iPad to do the work and so on. So it's all digital and so on. So it's a completely different experience from when I went to school.
You got your goddaughter at a good school, Sean. We don't get iPads over here in Beersheba, Israel, man.
Yeah, I was shocked. They gave them all free iPads. But the reason why I'm saying that is because things are changing. They're probably preparing for obviously what happened with Corona and the way people are working today, and it's just going to be evolve from things like Zoom to things like a more of immersive environment and learning a different environment. And another thing too is the NFT side of it is one for the creator, the author. Potentially, I know it's not easy to get publishing deals, and you walk out there. So it's a way for them to make money through connecting with their audience. And then you mentioned education too, with the way people I can't remember the word you used, multi-learning.
Multidisciplinary learning, like immersive learning tools. Yeah.
So that side of it, I've seen that. I don't know if you've got it over there, but a company called Pearson over here, they create all the textbooks for the revision and whatnot. They looked into the NFT space now, but their whole angle is pretty much to basically get secondary sales. So they say that obviously kids give away their books or sell their books, don't they? When they're finished, they don't throw them away.
I understand.
So they want to be able to tap into secondary sales, but there's a lot more they can do with that, offering tutoring and whatnot. And I think we look to see that in the future. But you're right; these things are happening. So the fact that you're preparing for this, whether it's people are using it now or we're using it in the next 10 years, we will need your services. Eventually.
That's exactly right. And I think that's the reason we're tying this to the physical book right now. And I hope it stays tied to a physical book forever because, I love books. I love how they feel. I love how they smell. I'm a book guy. What can I say? I mean, so I hope that the physical books stay around forever and ever and ever. And I think they will. And we've had ideas to go to some of these old libraries or bookstores in London, in the UK, and do an NFT yearbook book launch inside of one of these to show that transgression between old and new and technologically advanced. So, I mean, we want to be part of the book culture because we know that people that are in that culture are less adoptive of new technologies, if that makes sense. Like, I think they like IRL a lot more. In some cases, I'm not going to generalize and say everybody, but a lot more. So I mean, in a few years, 3D readables are going to be a part of our life. And whether that comes as, a text message or whatever, something going across your eye, we know that we can make those look beautiful. We can make them look cool. We can make them easier digestible. I mean, that's at the end of the day, what I want to do is really when I'm showing my NFT collection off, why do I need to show it on OpenSea and scroll and wait for it to load? I could have it all in one 3D readable and just flip through those pages. And it looks great. It's well designed. And we hope it spurs other ideas. I mean, at the end of the day, we're the first ones to the party, but we know there's other people invited. So come on in and this is really a movement of, I think that'll spawn widespread adoption a lot more, because we hope that people see these books. Like I literally talked to Sam Simmons, wonderful guy, Sam Simmons, across LinkedIn. If you don't know him, follow him. He's amazing. So Sam's out in Las Vegas, and he actually on his interview 2 days ago. The days are turning into one.
Yeah.
So Sam was telling me that he bought a new home, and he said, that's the first book I want on my coffee table is the NFT Yearbook. And I was like, right on, Sam. Yeah. So I mean, people love books. People love them. But yeah, again, I mean, in a few years, it's all going to be, not all, but there'll be a big portion of our learning that's going to be in virtual spaces. And that's just, that's inevitable. It's inevitable.
Yeah. Okay. So moving forward, what else are you looking forward to? I mean, we talked a lot about publishing NFT Yearbook, which is great. Just want a bit of your insight in regards to the different industries around NFTs at the moment. What are you looking forward to? Is it music? Is it real estate?
Oh man, I just can't wait for ETH to get more expensive again so I can buy more tops. ETH's on sale right now and I'm just like, should I buy? No, I should wait until it gets more expensive so I can buy, I always buy when it's up and sell when it's down anyways. So
you said you bought tops?
No. I meant like the top, like all-time highs for Ethereum. When I buy when it's expensive and I sell when it's cheap.
I thought you meant like the tops is like baseball cards.
Tops. I collected. So I was a big collector back in the day. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a 1981 guy. So I grew up through, you know, Pokemon in '99, baseball cards when I was a kid. You know, I had Ken Griffey rookie card. I felt so good. I was looking through some of the cards that I have here. I've got a Magic Johnson. I got a Magic Johnson on my refrigerator right now, like old school, like second year in the NBA card. Incredible stuff. So yeah, I was a collector for years and years and years. I think that we all are around this age group. You know, 100%. We've all got this thing. Yeah. So with me, I think that one-of-one art is going to be my first love. Okay. For me, I think that whatever other use cases, I'm going to go like this when I say NFTs.
Yeah.
And I'll expand on that in a second here. But I think that my first and foremost use case is definitely fine art. That's just me. I love it. I think it's beautiful, and you know, the value there is well deserved by many of these artists. My thoughts on AI art coming. So I think that that's a wonderful space for people that want to, you know, be a collector of something, and the fine art is definitely the way to go. If you want to look at real estate, we have to first figure out regulations. We have to first figure out, you know, inflation. We have to first figure out all these things that are happening. We also have to figure out royalties. Because I think that a lot of people went into the real estate space thinking, yeah, I'm going to make this smart contract, tie my $10 million home to it. Every time it sells, I'm going to make X money on royalties. Well, who's going to pay you those royalties? You know what I'm saying? Like it's very hard today to understand how people are going to make money based on these models of, oh, I was going to make money on secondary sales. And you were talking about Stedman. What did you say, the one from the UK?
Pearson.
Sorry, Stedman. Pearson. So I was thinking about Pearson, you know, and you were saying secondary, and then I was like thinking to myself, well, how are they going to do that with royalties being such a bugger right now? You know, so
true. I mean, it's no interoperability between chains. If someone has another chain, another platform, that's another incident there too. Like, so I think they're just. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any updates yet, but I guess they're looking into it. But the fact that they're looking into it shows that. Yeah, there is room for that, people.
100%. I mean, look at, again, this book is chain agnostic, but that's just because we're representing things from all chains. Yeah. You know, it's not like we're going to be able to view things on Wax and with the book. The book is on ETH. The book rests on ETH. It lives on the ETH blockchain. And that's, you know, where it should be, I think, for now, until the next ETH killer comes around.
Yeah. I think that it has to be on ETH based on history. At least this one anyway. Yeah.
I mean, our friends from Flow would definitely disagree with you. Our friends from Polygon would definitely disagree with you.
Deadfellaz, Flow, NFTs. I guess so. Yeah, I guess ETH or Flow, but I mean, more recognized blockchain. All the
for now, yeah.
On ETH, apart
ETH
from
is where it's at.
Yeah. Apart from NBA Top Shots, I guess, and Crypto Kitties.
I guess, yeah.
But that was on ETH, wasn't it? wasn't it? Am I getting?
I think it was.
Yeah, Ethereum.
And but the thing that I think is most interesting, and I think that's going to be the biggest, you know, wall to break down that's leading to widespread adoption is stop calling them NFTs and start calling what they represent.
Right.
So we don't say I'm sending you a PDF legal document anymore. You tell them I'm sending you a contract.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that when people start calling the NFT for what it represents in every use case, that's when people will understand, oh shit, there's really nothing hard about this. You know, why was I such a hater? Why did I FUD all that stuff? You know, once they start to be under the hood so you don't feel them, once my cell phone turns into something that is, you know, completely frictionless in terms of how I do transactions, how I do web3, once you don't feel that, that's when more and more, and my grandma and my grandpa and my parents will be easier to, you know, sign a transaction on MetaMask or whatever the wallet is in the future, right? So I think that those are the biggest barriers right now, is that you've got a small percentage of the world, us, which have adopted and we're the earliest, and then the rest of the people are going to come in once they see it's easier and easier and easier. But it's really a tech problem right now. It's a problem with the technology. It's bulky, and there's a ton of friction, and you have to understand. A lot of people don't want to do their own research. Everybody says do your own research. No, I would rather listen to you. You did your research. Tell me.
It's funny, isn't it? It's for years with technology. With technology is making things easier for people, so they don't have to do things. And now we're saying, okay, now you got to learn how to get a MetaMask wallet and understand blockchain and tokenomics and so on. And they're like, no, you've
yeah. What are you saying to me? What? What? How much tip do I leave? 10, 12%? What is it? How much is 12%? So yeah, no, I mean, like it's definitely a learning curve for a lot of people. But I do think that once we start to feel that those things are in the background, just like with any technology. I mean, when you make an international bank transfer today, Sean, do you know what SWIFT does? Do you know about the banks on the way? Yeah, maybe you do.
Yeah, a little bit, but generally, yeah. But generally, yeah, a lot of people won't even look and understand.
Most people have no idea. They would rather call customer service and say, "Where's my money?"
Yeah.
And that's what happens. But I mean, we all know that there are intricate, complex processes going on under the hood. I hope that we understand that. You know, these things, these algorithms, these AI, these machine learning, these bots, these everything that are contributing to the way that life is in 2022, things are just going to get more and more crazy. Like, I hope people get that, is that things are going to get more and more crazy in the few years. More of our jobs are going to be lost to AI. So people be ready. I mean, people that work today in chip factories or anywhere that you're seeing robots or anywhere that has a call center and the call center has a bot to answer your most basic questions, those jobs are going to be eliminated from the workforce in a few years. And I don't just mean those jobs. There could be a mass, like 20, 30% of the job force that may be left without a job. So if we're not learning about the technologies of the future now, and more than that, if the technologists of today are not creating technology that allows people to create things that are passionate about rather than work, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are the things that we have to think about for the future. Because if we're going to free up 30% of, 20, 30, whatever it is, of the workforce globally due to AI, due to robotics, due to automation, we better have something for those people to do.
Yeah, exactly. What's everyone going to do? It's true.
Well, everybody will just be making babies, and our population will be like 9 billion to 30 billion, and then we got no more corn, and then, I guess, what's his name? All right. Matthew McConaughey has to save us and take us to another planet,
Crazy. So we kind of got off there, but like let's get back on track. I want to kind of tap into your mind as we write
your book.
So. No. Now I want to tap into your mind and tell me, what in the next 10 years, what do you imagine things will be like then? I know we kind of were talking about, but in your life, in regards to using NFTs, real use cases, how we use it in everyday life. You wake up in the morning, your alarm bell goes off, and then what?
Yeah, so look, at 10 years is a stretch. For me to tell you that I could predict what's going to be in 10 years at the rate of progression we're going now would be
not predict, just be creative.
So creative. Okay, so I'll go 2, 5, 10. Okay. So 2 years from now, the technologies will get better. They'll be in the background more. We won't feel them as much, and people will understand more and more about what non-fungible assets really are. Yeah. I think that there's going to be global campaigns for education. Governments are going to have to do this because crypto's not going anywhere. NFTs aren't going anywhere, right? web3 is not going anywhere. So I think that in the next 2 years, that's going to be the case. People are going to be learning a lot more. You'll see the number of Ethereum wallets keep on going up. There's one chart that I trust in the world, and that's the number of Ethereum wallets in the world. And you see it from day one going up like this. And there's these on the way, but it's going up like this. As long as that's going up like that, we're good. We're totally good. You know what I mean? So that's the one thing. 5 years from now, I want to see some breakthroughs in technologies. I want to see breakthroughs in the security. I want to see breakthroughs in ERC 721R, for example, where we can stop rug pulls, for example, using that smart contract more so than now. More so than now. You're able to get refunds on NFTs if there's a rug pull within a few hours or 72 hours of launch.
There's a lot of questions around that one, but concept amazing.
I'm just saying. I want to see that technology be more mature. So we already have some market maturity now. We see that NFT collections aren't able to sell out, just by paying a shiller anymore. People are wising up to the game, I think, and that's just market maturity. So I think in 5 years, there's going to be a lot more technology. There's going to be a lot more use cases. There's going to be a lot more of, the development and the building of the infrastructures. I do think that a few of the big players are going to come into space and they will fail miserably. I think that Meta is going to fail miserably when it tries to make its first encroachment into space. I mean, thank you for allowing Instagram to support digital collectibles.
Yeah.
Thanks. What else? There's no NFT culture on Instagram, none whatsoever, unfortunately. People that think there is, sorry, there's not. There's art on Instagram. That's what you can do. You can do fire. So I've been talking to over 150 artists. They've all said the same thing. I have not sold NFT art, one-of-one art to anyone on Instagram. It's all happened for people on Twitter and Discord. You know? So, okay, 10 years away. 10 years away, I mean, if we're not flying by that time, like literally, I'll be pissed off personally. I want to see some crazy advances in nanotechnologies in, you know, fabrics, smart fabrics.
Yeah.
I want to see neuroscience develop things where we can, you know, use and tap into, you know, the internet by thought.
Right.
I want to be able to, you know, have we saw in Elysian, the movie a long time ago, where medically people have a problem, they get into a pod, press a button, they figure out what the problem is, they cure it instantly. Those are the things that I think are, you know, possible to do at some point. I want to see the space program come back. I want to see us exploring more. You know, Elon Musk has blown the whole roof off everything with these rockets that can now land, and, you know, Bezos is right after him. I think he won the race, didn't he? Or one of the two, whatever it was. So I really think that these things are all going to be powered by blockchain technology at the end of the day. That's the thing that links everything, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Is this underlying technology of blockchain that can be used for a million different use cases that haven't even been discovered yet. I do think that blockchain is going to play the most vital role in our future. And, you know, I think there'll be derivatives of blockchain. There'll be something new that's based on blockchain that might be called something else. But it's all going to be, you know, based around ownership, based on, you know, digital ownership, based on value, based on our virtual selves, which won't be called our virtual selves. It'll just be, you know, Sol A, Sol B, or whatever the hell it is, you know. That's what I really think will be in the future. I think there's going to be a no difference between our virtual selves and our physical selves. It'll just be an extension. It'll be an extension of us. Like our cell phones today are an extension of us. Yeah. You know, this is our second brain, right? Yeah. So that's my 2 cents.
No, I love that. And it's important that I've seen a few people explain like that, especially the metaverse. It's just an extension of our reality. It's not going to take over our lives. Everyone's worried about, it's going to take over our lives. But the same time they're spending 9 hours in their phone and and they don't realize. So we're already living in this world. It's just going to become more immersive and more developed. And it's how you use it. I've always said this, and I say it in all podcasts. It's going to be how you use it rather than the technology to abusing you. Is how you use it. So use it correctly. Yeah, it's going to benefit.
I can totally. That resonates with me so much because, you know, technology is not the bad thing. The person uses the technology can do it for good or bad. And it's the same with banking today. I mean, God, there's record amounts of fraud. There's record amounts of money laundering going on through traditional banking today.
Yeah.
I come from, again, Bank of Montreal. We were hacked at my time at the bank, and there was, I think it was public. There was like 120,000 personal documents stolen from the bank.
Crazy.
And they had to pay off hackers X Bitcoin. And this is back in 2016, okay? So I'm thinking to myself more and more, like, all of these things happen every single day. There's more hacks than ever before in the history of the world. There's more problems with Web 2 platforms than anywhere else. So why can't I own my own? Why not decentralize everything? So, for example, if my medical records are all mine on blockchain, I have access to smart contracts that I open up to a doctor for the 5 minutes that they need to see my personal medical records. You give them access, you take it back. You take away the single point of failure and the honeypot that hackers are looking for. No hackers in the world are going to go after 7-8 billion people, just way too resource heavy. Right. But now it's easier for them because everything is stored in these honeypots, in the crown jewels. You know what I'm saying? We store all of our data with these people that would use our data to harm us. I mean, I don't want to name names, but I'm going to name names. So Meta, I mean, what are they doing with our data? Right? Like, all of these companies, they're great on the outside. Thank you for reminding me it was my brother's birthday. But, you know, what are you doing with my personal data? Why do you get that? Why do you get to monetize that?
It's crazy. It is crazy when I think these things have been highlighted, and I think people are coming around, like being more aware of what is happening, and but there hasn't been no solutions created. But I think Web3 is bringing that solution. And like I said, the only obstacles and challenges that are in place at the moment is the whole user experience and onboarding, and which is going to take time.
I hope so, and I hope that people are able to, learn, and they're hoping they're here to understand. But again, it's the duty of the innovators, of the technologists out there in the world, to make these products so that we, the people that are less technological, are able to use these products in a way that protects them, protects their best interests. I mean, this is a matter of human rights. You know what I mean? It's not even a matter of anything other than your basic human rights. And just because we've evolved to, this virtual spaces or whatever it may be, that doesn't mean that somebody else gets to, invade our human rights. Yeah. And we should be able to own all of our data. And let's burn our fucking passport. No, I'm joking. let's rage against this machine, I really am a true believer of decentralization. I'm not an anarchist. I do know that we need some type of regulatory body to make sure that everyone's playing nice. But I think the blockchain provides that answer as well. That's the thing. Like, blockchain is the answer for literally everything except for heart surgery, and maybe also heart surgery.
Hopefully, that down the line. We'll see. Well, look, so it's been amazing having you on today.
You too. Thanks, man.
NFT Yearbook. So much things to look forward to. I know obviously you've got launched further on down the year. There's a lot of work to be done, but like obviously the marketing, letting people know about it, the content I look forward to, and actually the physical.
Can't wait to see you in the book, my man.
Yeah, and I can't wait to be a part of it. So it's very exciting, and thank you for obviously sharing it with me and connecting with me to be a part of it too. Also, so contribution is important. So to be recognized for that, that's a pleasure.
It's our pleasure. Honestly, we are, real recognize real always. And I think that authenticity that you bring to the table, I hope we bring the same type of authenticity to the table. I mean, we're dedicated to this. I just want everybody to know this is our baby. This is what we're doing. This is it. You know what I mean? Like, this is where we're at. And I hope that people appreciate that. Follow us on LinkedIn, NFT_yearbook, and on Twitter, NFT_yearbook. I'm Crypto Forager 81. Crypto Dashi is my partner. And, let's do it together. This is a project that I think is going to be very, very much a part of our years to come. So, expect a lot more.